Racing to the 2021 Future Stars Friday, and today we're going to take a look at the 7 most impressive winners at Saratoga in the 2021 maiden meet. Now, this is not going to be identifying who's going to win their next race. I kind of wanted to just take an in-depth look at the trips they got, the big victories, maybe some races they could be pointing to next. But there was some good, impressive winners at Saratoga and Del Mar. In our next video, we're going to take a look at some of the most impressive Del Mar Stakes winners. But today we go to the spa and we take a look at the 7 big winners that I have identified. They're going to be, maybe a chance to stretch out or continue on, maybe go next up from that maiden victory. We're going to focus more on the dirt winners than the turf in these editions, as this time of the year, you start thinking about Breeders' Cup Juvenile, some of the big Grade 1 races on the dirt for the 2-year-olds. All across the country, you've got the Breeders' Cup Futurity at Keeneland, you've got the Champagne Stakes, you got the American Pharoah Stakes. But let's start off with My Prankster, a winner for Todd Pletcher. Debuted at Saratoga with a nice win. Came a little bit off the pace. There was some heat up front, but what I like about this race was that he kind of made that slingshot move going into the turn, took the lead, ran pretty straight down the stretch, and then they eased up near the finish line. It seemed like there was more in the tank for My Prankster. Jack Christopher was everybody's big winner on the day on a Saturday for Chad Brown. He opened up on the tote board at even money, went off just a little over even money and won easily. And there's talk that Jack Christopher might be going next in the Champagne Stakes for trainer Chad Brown. Classic Causeway picked up a win at over 10-to-1 odds on closing weekend at Saratoga. Had some nice workouts for trainer Lynch and showed some speed. Got off. They was kind of sent early, and that established the pace for Classic Causeway. Classic Causeway, never in doubt in this one, drew off to victory, and I think we may see him in the Champagne Stakes next. We'll take a look at the pedigree on him and My Prankster in just a moment. Now, Echo Zulu, she picked up a couple of wins at the Saratoga meet. She is probably the 2-year-old division leader, mixed up possibly Keeneland or maybe the Frazette Stakes at Belmont Fall Meet before she goes to the Breeders' Cup, or maybe they'll go out west to Del Mar, but lots of options for Echo Zulu. I think a lot of people like the name, they like the pedigree on this one. The first crop of gun runner for trainer Steve Asmussen. Echo Zulu, one of the fillies on this list here. I've been focusing mainly on the colts. Now, Witt, even though he stumbled in the Hopeful Stakes, I thought his Saratoga Special was a nice race. Trainer Todd Pletcher had this one geared up to win first time out back at Belmont. Won a stakes race, then again stumbled out of the gate, started out dead last in the Hopeful. Made a move, lost to the runaway winner, Ganite, in that race, the Hopeful Stakes, the Grade 1. But I think we'll be hearing more about Witt. You know, they with 3 races as a juvenile, if they think he's going to stretch out, they may just kind of wrap him up for this year and get ready for a 3-year-old campaign, as he does seem to have the pedigree and running style that could maybe get him a 1 1/8 miles in the spring big races. So we'll see what they do with Witt, but he does have a good solid 2-year-old foundation. I don't think he'll run another race and then the Breeders' Cup, so there's a possibility of training up to the Breeders' Cup and going with 4 races as a juvenile. They have spaced out his races so far, even with those 3 races. Stellar Tap, some people may have forgotten about this one. He won first out. Smaller horse, so I think there's some room to grow here for Stellar Tap. Interesting note, they entered her as him as a main track eligible, and then they came back and won at a 1/16 on the dirt. So this horse definitely seems to be a type that wants to run all day, and they definitely wanted to get this one in a distance of ground. I have a feeling we'll see Stellar Tap at Keeneland for the Breeders' Futurity next start. Again, that one trained by Steve Asmussen. Major General, I thought this was a nice effort, mainly because the margin of victory wasn't as impressive as some of these other horses, but put away a horse. A horse came at him on the turn, horse came at him at the top of the stretch, and then a horse came near him at the finish line. I thought Major General, the son of Constitution, showed a little bit of grit in his race and fought off several challenges. To me, overall, that was a good race. Speed figure didn't come up that big. Now, on the BEYER speed figure scale, Jack Christopher and My Prankster got 92 on the BEYER scale for their victories. Echo Zulu a 90, Classic Causeway a 90, and Wit also a 90 in that Saratoga special effort. So some big efforts. Remember this time of the year, if you're anywhere near a 95, basically you want to be maybe at that 97 or 98, possibility of 100 at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. But when you're looking at September and August for the Saratoga and Del Mar meets, upper 80s to lower 90s is a solid speed figure for this time of the year. Some interesting pedigrees. My Prankster, son of Into Mischief, picked up that victory. Wanted to talk about the mare on this one. 25 starts, 10 wins. She ran over in Puerto Rico and then came over to the United States and ran some good solid races. So there's a solid female running family for My Prankster. And also the second pedigree I wanted to highlight was Classic Causeway, who debuted with a nice victory. Again, this one by Private World was the Giants. Causeway was the sire, and Private World is the mare. The second mare I wanted to talk about was Rita Rucker. Now, Private World ran in the Moccasin Stakes, one of that old 2-year-old stakes race at Hollywood Park. But the second mare, Rita Rucker, ran 72 times, 21 victories, and ran a lot on the East Coast at Mountaineer and Charlestown Park. I always like it when that second mare is kind of a runner and there's a solid female family on that second generation as these horses start to stretch out. So some interesting pedigree notes on Classic Causeway and My Prankster. Now the upcoming races, when you take a look, Echo Zulu, again, possibility of going to Keeneland, then maybe the Breeders' Cup. Stellar Tap, I think we'll see at Keeneland for the big grade 1 race there. And then Major General, no word on his next stakes engagement. As we start to look, Jack Christopher, I think they've kind of penciled in for the Champagne Stakes, and Classic Causeway, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see him in the Champagne. Did you have any other winners that you liked at Saratoga? Leave a comment of your favorite Saratoga winners. Which of these 7 do you think could win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile? Leave a comment, hit subscribe as we ring you up to the 2021 Breeders' Cup.